Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I'm going to be talking about the Dungeons & Dragons Stranger Things role-playing game starter set, okay? It's a new red box that they put out, and specifically today I'm going to talk about the dice in that set. There's a really, really super important change in the dice in that set. Okay, so the Dungeons & Dragons Stranger Things role-playing game starter set is this beautiful red box recreation. It is such a wonderful product, right? But it has this massive change in it that I noticed. So the dice in the set, there are only 6. There are not 7 dice, right? It's a D4, it's a D8, it's a D10, it's a D12, it's a D20, right? So D4, D6, D8, D10, D12, D20, right? Now what's missing there? The D00, the D percentile, right? So normally in a Dungeons & Dragons, a normal Dungeons & Dragons dice set contains 7 dice. And you are looking at the 7th dice being the percentile dice, 10, 20, 30. Now, it has been stripped from the Dungeons & Dragons Stranger Things role-playing game starter set, right? And it's a big deal. And the reason why is this product is not a normal product. It is really, really, in many ways, historically important, right? It's the first product ever, first tabletop role-playing game product in history to have the Netflix logo, right? It's one of the first products I've seen to have the Hasbro gaming logo, right? It is a really, and there was a lot of time and money and effort that went into this specific product. And this is recognized by Wizards of the Coast, right? By Hasbro as a absolutely massive door that will be opened to many players. It is perfectly timed, right? Because we're about to have the 3rd season of Stranger Things, and when that drops, this thing is going to be sitting there ready for people to pick up and use, right? Or ready for people like me and you, people who have a lot of experience with Dungeons & Dragons, to pick it up, to rub it on your face because you remember the old red box. Just really enjoy it as a product. Just really enjoy those Demogorgon. The Demogorgon minis, and also to see the condensation of the Dungeons & Dragons rules to its absolute most important elements. That's one of the funnest parts, to enjoy that Thessala Hydra adventure. It's all in there, right? But the reality is, this is a really, really important product for Dungeons & Dragons. And what they're saying is that a standard Dungeons & Dragons dice set does not contain the percentile die, right? Now, first of all, we as tabletop role-playing game enthusiasts, we have to say, wait, what? Wait, what? Is this good or is this bad? Well, I'm going to say it real clear. It is super good, right? And the reality is, the reason why is, I am thoroughly convinced that we have the best hobby in the world. Tabletop role-playing games are amazing. They're life transformative for people who go deep into this subject, right? They're just so much better than any. Right now, people are choosing their hobbies, and when you go deep into these hobbies, the things you come out with from Dungeons & Dragons are so wonderful and change you in such a transformative way. It's really important, right? But so we want it to grow and we want it to spread. But the reason why it is not growing and spreading faster, right, is complexity. We have basically tabletop role-playing game enthusiasts are having a love affair with complexity, right? It's kind of tawdry. It's not helpful. It's not good, right? We love complexity. But I really am convinced that it is keeping many, many, many people who we want, many people who are intelligent, creative, artistic, many people we desperately want, that we desperately need in the hobby. We're keeping them out because we absolutely refuse to reduce complexity. But Wizards of the Coast is in this really unusual position where they can choose to reduce complexity. And this one simple choice helps to reduce complexity, right? Basically, there's just one more thing falling out, one less thing falling out of that box, right? And when you look at the dice, you see every platonic shape you need to see, right? You really do not need that percentile die. If you really desperately are going to need a percentile position 1, there's already tons of those dice made, so somebody at the table is probably going to already have one. Or you could just take somebody else's, or you could even, you could generate it by rolling your D10, then writing that down and rolling it again. Or you could generate it by grabbing anybody else's die on the table who has another color. Oh, and that's a great one too, right? So the other thing is, this can kill an age-old, useless superstition within tabletop role-playing games, which is, and also quite gendered, but you never grab another person's dice, right? Like, that is a long standing rule within tabletop, and it's a terrible rule. It's a terrible rule, right? Like, I think that dice, everybody should have their own dice, and your dice should be yours. But the idea that you don't touch it, man, like we all learned in kindergarten, you share, right? And so, like, if you need D8s, and actually, I've been very blessed at the tables I'm at, when I'm rolling 3D8, and I only have 2D8, somebody will hand their dice over. But this helps to get past those kind of, like, clinging. It's just one of those things that it's one of those barnacles on the hull of tabletop role-playing games that is not helpful, right? But the reality is this one simple change, just taking that percentile dice out, it slims down what is needed to play Dungeons & Dragons. And it presents a slimmer profile to all these new people who are coming in. They're like, oh, there's 6 dice. Awesome, right? And you don't have to have another conversation explaining why one of the dice has, extra... why one of the shapes has 2 dice, right? It just slims down and gets rid of that complexity. And I think it's a really cool, very small, very wonderful change. I'm really for it. And I absolutely love the Dungeons & Dragons Stranger Things role-playing game starter set. Is one of the most beautiful products I've ever seen them make. I cannot recommend it highly enough. I absolutely recommend buying it. And even if you don't want it, if you don't want to own it, you should buy it, right? Like, there's, like, and the reason why is I really feel this product is going to go through the roof, and I really think it is of historical significance. But I'm a huge fan of the removal of the percentile dice and just slimming down the D&D standard dice set, right? It's important, and it lowers complexity, and it aids us with the play of the game. That's my thought. I'm more than willing to hear you out if you think I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.